new episode of The Great North. Today, I'm honored to welcome someone who reshaped how we understand Italian wine and how we think about terroir, but also a physician turned writer, a great revivalist, and an author of landmark books, the brilliant Ian DeGetta. Welcome, Ian.
Thank you. Hello. Hello, everybody.
From Etna to Piedmont, which Italian regions do you think are adapting well to climate change?
Okay, so that's a very important question because unfortunately we live in a world of climate change and the weather. I mean, the weather's changing. In places like Alsace, which is one of the greatest places in the world to make late harvest noble rot affected wines, it's becoming harder and harder to make noble rot affected wines because the quality of the noble rot that is now forming is very poor. And so more often than not, these wines aren't being made anymore. Germany is even much worse off. They basically can't make ice wines anymore in Germany, and that's unheard of. The thing is, there are some grape varieties that are better adapted to heat. There's no doubt about it. There are some grapes. So one of the reasons why Vermentino is becoming so popular everywhere, Rolle from southern France, Vermentino is a white grape that actually likes heat. So it handles it much better than other varieties. Grape varieties from Italy like Nero d'Avola. Nero d'Avola is a very interesting variety. It's a Sicilian red grape. The great thing about Nero d'Avola, it is able to tolerate very high soil salt concentrations, much more so, for example, in Cabernet Sauvignon. So what's happening in many coastal areas of the southern hemisphere, but even more and more people are planting Nero d'Avola near the coastlines because it is able to survive a situation that is starting to become, less rain, salts concentrate on the soil, and so you need plants that can survive. And other grapes, for example, that maybe had been forgotten before are starting to make a comeback now because they reach physiological ripeness very early in the year, so they don't have to be exposed to very high summertime heat by leaving the grapes on the vine. These grapes can be picked early and give you a very actually low alcohol level because you can. And one example is Sylvaner. Sylvaner is a grape that now is starting to make a big comeback because unlike Riesling and Chardonnay, Sylvaner ripens physiologically fairly early in the summer, so it can be picked and it will be physiologically ripe with no untoward green aromas and flavors. But not only will the wine be good and mineral and fresh and zingy, but it will be a wine that only has 12 and 12.5% alcohol. Of course, we can change our viticulture. Of course, we have to start planting higher up. We're starting to do north-facing vineyards more and more. Imagine that in many legislatures of France, wine legislatures of France and Italy, the north-exposed vineyards were vetoed. They were not allowed. They were illegal. But now that's all changing. Everybody's planting north. All that we can do, change our viticulture, change how we go about these things, canopy management, of course. But I think also specific grape varieties are going to have a renewal of their popularity because of their intrinsic characteristics.